Hi, I'm Sarana.
And I'm Jason.
In today's video, we want to give you a quick update on our progress. Where are we right now? Let's talk about your job.
Okay, yeah, so an update on my job. I've already turned in the paperwork, which is a long, involved process. The very first thing that I have to do is have a counseling session with the retirement program that teachers belong to in California. So that took a while, and we had to take a look at, all of the different requirements I had to do as far as, the notification I have to give to the district. They talked about, the potential money I'm going to be getting every month, which is not as much as I had hoped. So, which means I'm probably going to have to get a job in France, which I'm happy to do. Teaching is something that I've always done, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. And so that's just something that I'll be looking into once we arrive in France. And so I did the whole counseling thing with the people who are in charge of my retirement system. And so the next thing I had to do was I had to have that talk with my principal of my school saying, hey, guess what? I'm going to be retiring. And the reaction is almost always the same from anyone who I tell that. First of all, they think I'm too young, which I might be a little bit too young. But I tell them, by the way, I'm retiring. Sorry to hear that. First they have shock, and then I tell them, oh, I'm moving to France. Oh my God, I can't believe that. That's so amazing. I want to do that too. And so that's typically the reaction. First a little sadness, and then surprise and happiness when we tell them we're going to be moving to France. And so it's a very happy thing. And so slowly the word has been spreading throughout the school where I teach, and it's a mixture of the same. A lot of sadness, a couple of people have shed a couple of tears, but that's only natural. And I wanted to make a point of telling them early. It's about 3 months before I actually retire, and I've had colleagues before that didn't say anything, just didn't show up the next year, and I always felt that's kind of a little bit unfair to the people, because people need time to process, the feeling of not being around, people that they've worked with for so many years. And so I wanted to make a point to tell people very early, as difficult as it might be, I started that process, and it's been going pretty well. And I'm hoping by the time I do retire, people will forget all about it. And you just say, bye-bye, enjoy yourself. I got through all the sadness. And so those are the things that I've done. I've notified my retirement system, and I've notified my job. And now it's just a waiting game as far as, me finally getting the retirement checks. And we have to do a lot of things in terms of banking as well. We have to set up a bank account, which has been a little bit more difficult than
Yeah, so
I thought.
that's so great that you told them beforehand. I feel the same way. Sometimes my colleagues would leave the day before, they would tell us, and it's very sad and shocking. Talking about banking, I had no idea how difficult it is to apply it for a bank account in France. So since we're still here, so we were able to discover international bank in France, and then we thought, hey, you know what? Let's create an account while we're still here, so it will make things easier, right?
Right.
So I guess you initially you send an email to them.
Yeah, the first thing you do is you make a request online to open up an account for non-residential customers. And so I sent that request. It's got to be about 2 weeks ago. And then after about 3 days, I got a call from one of the bank representatives who took some more information. And we told them the city that we'll most likely be going to. And so they transmitted the information that they took to that branch, and I was told that I would get a call back from the branch. Haven't heard anything as of today, and I sent a follow-up, same sort of request to open up an account, and they told me the same thing. A bank representative would call, and so it's kind of just repeating the process. And then I called again, but I didn't want to call too much because it looks kind of suspicious to constantly call and say what's going on. And so right now we're just waiting. A representative said, yes, we have your information. We're just reviewing it. Please be patient, that kind of thing. And I don't, I guess this is typical.
As American, it's just so hard to understand, because here you can just open the account within seconds, or if not minutes. So for us to now hear back for so long, you're just thinking, okay, what is going on? Like, is this yes or no? Yeah, because we will need to be able to transfer the money over there. for any, anything, expenses, anything like that.
And for obvious reasons, it'll be a lot easier to open up an account when we're there because they could verify our documents, they could see us in person, they could see that we're not trying to do anything weird or sketchy. And so
Yeah.
in the meantime, I do have to say, this is thanks to Bag It Bound, that channel, we opened up an account, or I had an account actually that I've had for a while with Wise. And Wise is a good way to, at least in the meantime, be able to transfer your money and make payments while you're in France. And so it's a convenient thing to do for now. So if we're not able to open up an account from here in America for France, then we're just going to have to wait and do it while we're there. And in the meantime, use Wise, which is really convenient. I think you've used it before.
Yeah, I have. I transfer money to my mom in Japan. It is convenient, but we do hear that it's pretty difficult to, even if you get to France, it's open a bank account.
Yes.
So, you have to wait and see what happens there.
Right.
if we, if we will be able to do that.
Right.
But if you have any information that you can provide for us in terms of banking, definitely leave in the comments. We would definitely look into those options as well.
Yes, and we're not faulting France at all. They're, of course, being very cautious because there are a lot of people in the world who try to do some really, crooked things, we'll just say. And, when you have some, honest people who are just moving to France and trying to, start a new life, those people make it challenging. But I'm sure, once we get there, all of these challenges will go away because we'll be in person. And so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I actually didn't know about that part that people are doing less ideal things with the banks. But
Yeah.
anyway, hopefully it's not going to be an issue here. And then so next big thing is visa. Okay, so as Jason mentioned earlier, he would definitely love to continue teach English. That's a passion of his. Since as long as he can remember.
Yeah.
So, when we thought about moving to France, we immediately thought, okay, that's a perfect place for him to get a teaching job because I'm sure there's a lot of need there for students to learn English.
Yeah, we've heard that from many people.
Yeah, so because of his teaching background and experience, we thought, okay, great, that would be the job, right, for you to
Right.
do when we get there. Then come to find out, there is not such a visa in terms of for people to get there and look for a job. Okay, so we have been looking into visa systems. So there is a long stay tourist visa, which you have to sign documentation saying you can't work during that time.
Right.
Initially, we thought about that visa. We thought, hey, get that visa, go over there, apply for a job, and maybe convert that to a work visa. But I came to find out just as recently as yesterday
Yeah.
that
not
the
that
long-term tourist visa does not allow people to get a job.
Yeah, when you get that visa, you have to sign a document and say that you will not, basically take any job from a French national, someone who is actually a French citizen. And so that would be something that might restrict me from getting a job.
Yeah. So another option that we looked into was self-employment. So which means that if he wants to start a tutoring business, teaching English online or in person, that's a possibility. However, for families, it will be taking 3 to 6 months for us to go after. He has to be in France first. Then he will use that business and to get the family, meaning myself and our daughter, over there. But that process can take up to 6 months.
Yeah.
So then that's out.
Yeah, that's out for sure.
So another thing is that, okay, maybe we can get a higher degree, higher education, whether you're going to their school system. Either you can get a master's degree, maybe I can get a master's degree and then get the student visa, and then my family can come with me. And I can also work part-time 20 hours per week. That's an option. Only thing is that, okay, first I have to apply for school, and then I have to get accepted by the school, and I believe there's a language requirement as well. So there's a lot of requirement in terms of, okay, if I would go to get a degree, right, a higher education degree, and then so what that's still, I guess he already has a master's degree, so maybe he can get a doctorate degree, PhD, and go it that way. So yeah, so if you are a student and you there for 3 years, and then after that 3 years, you can apply for this another visa, meaning job search visa, that you can actually stay there for a year to look for jobs. And it's kind of ideal for the students. If you are students, this would be a great option for you visa-wise, because you still can work part-time 20 hours a week and get your degree, and afterwards you can stay for another year and doing the job search, and the government will pay you, I believe, about 600 euro for each month for you to search for your job. It's really great. You're thinking. So then another visa is it's called the it's talent passport visa.
Yeah.
That's a little complicated because he will need to actually now, before we leave the U.S., and to get a job there, secure a job, then he can apply for this visa. And then this visa basically, again, say if he gets a teaching job, the school sponsors him and pays him. I believe it's about $50,000 and 46,000 euro a year, something like that. Don't quote me on that. I think the number, something like that. And then he will be able to get this talent visa, talent passport visa for up to 4 years. That's really great if he can secure a job before we go. But that's definitely a lot harder, because then, you're kind of competing with other French speaking or French people there for the same position.
Right.
So it could be difficult, but it's not impossible. So you might try that as well.
Certainly a
Yeah,
possibility. We're
yeah.
looking at all of our different possibilities, so.
Yeah, and the last one I think I just found out yesterday is that there's a university. Basically, university, he can, with his master's degree, he can teach in universities for a year, and then after that, he can kind of decide in terms if they wanted to extend another year. The most is 2 years. He could. If just 1 year, you can then decide what do you want to do. You want to get that long-term tourist visa, you can continue to stay there.
Right.
Or you can apply for other jobs, but if you apply for other jobs, there's a possibility you have to come back to America to apply for that
Right.
work visa all over again. So these are some options. Not very, not the options that we thought we wanted, but these are the options, and
Yeah.
at least there are some options,
Yeah,
right?
options are good. We want to choose the visa very carefully, because we don't want to limit, the opportunities that we have when we go over there. And so that's why we're really thinking. But speaking of visa, we still, regardless of what visa we apply for, we still need our daughter's passport that we're waiting for. We applied for that, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Roughly, and we were told it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, and so we needed to apply for a new passport because the one that she has expires next year. But we don't want to sort of risk us, let's say we live in France another 3 or 4 years, having to apply for a new visa inside that time period would be too stressful. So we're still waiting for her.
Yeah,
her
I think
passport.
you have to have more than 6 months, and hers kind of run out, getting close to expiring. That's why we're applying. So again, come back to visa. So there's other requirement as well, other than you have a sufficient funding for a year, like a fund in your bank account that shows you will be able to survive during that year. Another thing is that you will need address, and we're lucky because we have a cousin lives there, and then she married to a French person, so
Yes.
their family are able to let us stay for the first a month or two.
Yeah.
For us to get the visa
Yeah, really supportive family.
stabled. So we really appreciate their help.
We are really lucky and thankful that we do
Yeah.
have a family in France that is supporting us, and so we thank them so much.
Yes, yes.
Such wonderful
If
people.
you're watching, thank you. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the visa situation. Another thing we are looking to with the realtor, we'll talk about that in another episode, the
Yeah.
whole, looking for apartment episode coming up.
Right. We have a really wonderful real estate agent who's
Yeah.
given us so much information. And as my wife mentioned, we'll talk more about her later.
Yeah, so that's also in progress. She actually, essentially, she provided many, because we really don't know where we want to be. We're so bad, we don't know where we want to be. But we gave her a list of
Criteria. we're looking
criteria
for.
or things that we wish, the wish
Yeah,
list.
we gave her a wish list.
A wish list. She was able to come up to almost 20 different locations for us. And then, so yeah, we are still, we kind of decided one place, but we're still waiting on
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
again, once that's confirmed, we'll definitely keep you updated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Anything else we haven't covered?
that's our process for now. 'Cause the visa is the most important thing, and then also, we really want to try to pinpoint the place that we're going to live, and just trying to hammer out the bank details. So those are the three things: visa, place to live, bank details.
Yeah.
So those are the ones. So that's our status right now. But things are moving along, and we have a lot of support, not just from the family we mentioned, but from our real estate agent, who's given us so much advice. And my wife is actually reading. She has this book on visas, and so she's very soon going to be an expert on French
Very.
visas. You might have to get a job counseling.
I can teach people. So, okay, so what about my work? So I'm still working. I'm still working. I haven't told anyone. Oh, well, no one, I don't think no one at my work is watching this video. So I haven't told them. But there are things going on. So we'll talk about that in another video too, once I no longer work there, because I don't want to say anything right now. But yeah, so it's we're living very interesting time right now in
Very
the U.S.
interesting
So
time,
we're
yeah.
just gonna leave it as that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we're going on right now, and very
Absolutely.
excited.
Let's not diminish the fact that yes, we are still very, very excited. I told my high school French teacher that I am going, and he said, "Bon voyage."
Oh my goodness!
He's very excited.
Yes, yes.
I'm still in contact with my high school French
Okay,
teacher.
what does that mean, bon voyage?
That means have a wonderful journey.
Oh yes. Oh, that's wonderful. So that's great. Everyone's so supportive.
Yes.
We kind of told our family members, and they're very excited for us. The cousin in France is excited as well, so we can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what we're going on right now.
Right. A lot of different steps we have to
Yeah.
take, but every step we take is leading us more and more toward our happy ending in France.
Yep. So we'll keep you posted.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you for watching as always, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Okay, bye.